The first round of the college football playoff is in the books. As some of you may or may not be able to tell, I'm not in my usual setting. I'm actually taking a vacation in Baghdad. Baghdad is absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful place, beautiful city. But in any case, it doesn't matter where on the map I am, I'm still going to give you the content you want. Before I get into the full recap of each individual game, I know there's a lot of controversy going on right now because of the results of the entire games. Yes, it was a shit show. Yes, most of the games were blowouts. However, I don't think it's fair to judge this first round and this first ever college football playoff, 12-team, I should say, college football playoff. Because of that, there's been more than enough blowouts in the 4-team standard. Even the first year, if y'all remember, when it was Oregon versus Florida State in one of the most anticipated matchups of the season, it was a complete blowout. Complete blowout. When it was Mariota versus Jameis Winston in a game that everybody was excited for. It was a blowout. So it's not fair to judge these games, even though they were mostly shit, because of it. We have another 4 games next in the quarterfinals and another 2-game semifinal, and then obviously the national championship. There will be good games, trust me. All right, let's get into the first matchup, which was Indiana versus Notre Dame. Do not let this final score fool you. Do not let this final score fool you. It was a blowout. Notre Dame dominated this game. From the very first Jeremiah Love touchdown where he popped off for a 98-yard to house call, Notre Dame bullied Indiana. And part of the issue for Indiana, in my opinion, is the overconfidence of their head coach. What fucking head coach is going on College Game Day to talk shit right before the biggest game in Indiana football history? It was the wrong decision of him to do that. His word choice was horrible because I think he said something along the lines of, we don't just beat top 25 teams, we beat the shit out of them. Okay, you lost to Ohio State badly, and you got bullied by Notre Dame pretty badly as well. So I don't know what the fuck this dude's talking about. He's a great coach. Indiana had a great season. They had arguably the best season in Indiana football history. But this arrogance is part of the reason Indiana lost. They thought shit was going to be sweet. They thought shit was going to be easy. And they found out shit was not sweet, nor was it easy. Notre Dame controlled this game all the way through. Defensively, offensively, special teams as well. Don't let the score fool you. The game was like 27-3 for its majority. Notre Dame controlled the entirety of the game. Indiana scored not 1 but 2 garbage time touchdowns late in the fourth quarter. Okay, cool. They made it seem better on paper than it really was, but it was a blowout. And the funniest part is that this game is actually the closest game in the entire first round CFP. But again, it's a fake score. Indiana ran up the score late, garbage time touchdowns that were irrelevant. Notre Dame bullied the Indiana Hoosiers. Indiana Hoosiers had a great season. I'm not going to take much away from them. They did very, very well. But most importantly, Notre Dame won, and Notre Dame set themselves up for a date with Georgia. What a game that's going to be. Probably the best or the second best game of that entire quarterfinal college football playoff. Notre Dame looked really good. Riley Leonard played well, aside from the mistake he made early in the game, interception. The defense looked unbelievable. Notre Dame is a scary-ass team. And Georgia, even though they're really good, should not overlook them. Good shit, Notre Dame. Good win. Authority win. Good season by Indiana. I know a lot of people are bagging and dogging Indiana. They should have never even been here. They should have never even been here. I can see the argument for why Indiana didn't belong here, but it should not be taken away from them. They had a great season. Their only loss was to Ohio State. Yes, their strength of schedule was extremely easy and one of the worst, if not the worst, in the entire CFP. But they did deserve to be here. They played well enough. Good win for Notre Dame. Next matchup. The next game, Penn State obliterating, or I should say raping, SMU. I mean, literally, they killed them. This Jennings kid for the SMU got mollywopped, absolutely destroyed. He got Sandusky. That's what we'll call it. How many fucking interceptions did he throw? 3? The first 2 scores by Penn State were pick sixes. Pick sixes. And again, same position as Indiana here. Now, a lot of people are saying SMU didn't deserve it. SMU didn't beat anybody good. Alabama should have been here. Ole Miss should have been here. South Carolina should have been here. I'm a big SEC guy, and I disagree with that. SMU deserved to be here. They had a good enough season and earned their spot. Yeah, they got matched up against Penn State, and they had to play Penn State in Penn State. Shit was not going to be easy. The cold affected them. You could see the weather was affecting them. And then even without the weather, the Penn State defense is one of the best in the nation. What did you think was going to happen? SMU did not have a chance at this game. Penn State dominated from the very beginning to the very end. It was absolute domination. Penn State did everything correctly. The offense was good. The defense won this game. The defense won Penn State this game. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Pick six after pick six already is too many. But in any case, they stopped SMU. They did not let SMU score. They did not let SMU drive. They controlled the tempo of the game. Penn State full-on domination. Penn State Sandusky'd SMU. Nothing more to say for this one. Penn State looked really good, like they should have looked against the bigger teams. Does this count as a big win for James Franklin? I would say yes, but not big enough. He still needs to beat those top 10 teams. You know which ones I'm talking about. The best of the very best. He needs to prove that he can do that. If he can do that, then we can give James Franklin the credit he deserves. It was a great win. I'm not going to take anything away from him nor his team. But SMU is not on that level yet. Good season for SMU. They had a great year. One of the best in program's history. Penn State was just better every which way possible. And the weather favored them. Everything went in Penn State's favor. And that's why SMU got absolutely bullied. Bullied. Penn State now has a date with Boise State in what should be a great game. And in theory, Penn State's got a clear path to the semifinal. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get into the next game. Clemson versus Texas. How about them horns, baby? How about them horns, baby? Texas controlled this game for its majority. They bullied them on offense. They bullied them on defense. Let's remember, Clemson scores the very first touchdown. There's a night celebration, and then Texas goes out there and beats their fucking ass. If I'm not mistaken, the highest lead Texas had at this game was like 21 points. They were playing well. Texas was playing really well. Even though Quinn Ewers could have been better, and there were moments in that second half that I felt he should have been a lot better, the first half was great. He has his moments. We know this already. Quinn Ewers has his moments. If he can avoid playing like a dumbass, then Texas will win every fucking game. If he doesn't avoid playing like a dumbass, then we all know what's going to happen. In any case, Texas domination until about third quarter or so, fourth quarter or so, Clemson climbed their way back. All of a sudden, with a bat of an eye, Clemson is down a touchdown after being down 21 points. I'm starting to sweat. You guys know I'm starting to sweat. But what happens? I don't know his goddamn first name, but his last name is Blue. The running back pops off for a nasty, big boy, 70-plus yard Texas touchdown. Texas take a 14-point lead and never look back. Texas wins by 14. Expose the fraudulent, fake-ass Clemson team. Texas is legit. Texas is legit. And remember what I said in my prediction video. I had a new little parlay I was cooking up. Texas future to win the Natty and Alexander Usyk money line, which was an easy no-sweater, by the way. Alexander Usyk dominated Tyson Fury through and through. And now I'm sitting on another couple $1,000s added to my already couple $1,000 Texas tickets. Texas is going to win the Natty. They have a strong defense. They have a great offense. They played fantastic in this game. They are legit. Clemson had a decent season. I'm not going to say it's a good season like the rest of these guys because Clemson continued to get fraud checked by every big team they played, besides SMU. Every big team they played, they got bullied. And not only that, they lost not once, not twice, but 3 times to the SEC, right? Georgia, South Carolina, now Texas. SEC bullied Clemson. Clemson deserved to be here. They obviously won the ACC. No one's questioning that. But goes to show a bullshit team like Clemson and a bullshit ACC team does not match up against the SEC and the big dogs, which are the Horns. Good shit for Texas. They set themselves up for a date with Arizona State. I will be worried about that game. I will be sweating, but I won't be as worried as I could have been. Texas will dominate the rest of the way through. But again, this is a recap video. This isn't a prediction video. I can't glaze Texas too hard just yet. Next game, final game, in my opinion, the most disappointing game, Tennessee versus Ohio State. Ohio State dog walked the Tennessee Volunteers. And the worst part about it is how it started. The very first Ohio State drive, that touchdown drive, was given to them. I don't want to say it was given to them, but it sucks how all the momentum changes like that based on one bullshit penalty. It was third and long, if I'm not mistaken. Tennessee stops Ohio State on that third down. They call a face mask on the defense, which is Tennessee. And then boom, the drive is revitalized. And Will Howard leads Ohio State down the field. They score a tud, and they just start pouring onto them. It was a domination. They were up like 21-0. Tennessee clawed back a little bit before halftime. It was like 21-10. People, I thought, oh shit, maybe Tennessee can cover at least. They can make a little comeback. They didn't. Ohio State bullied them. The running game was great. The passing game was great. And most importantly, the offensive line was that much better. We saw what happened versus Michigan. We saw. This was a legacy game for Ryan Day. This was a legacy game for that Ohio State offensive line. And they showed up and they showed out. Did the cold-ass weather affect Tennessee? Yeah, probably. It's Tennessee. Tennessee's cold, but it's not that cold. Ohio is fucking freezing. I know. Ohio State played better every which way. Ohio State controlled offensively and defensively. I don't even want to say good game by Tennessee because it wasn't a good game. They abandoned their run. They should have fed Samson the rock a lot more. And they didn't. And that's why they failed. And they couldn't come back. It was out of reach by the first quarter. The game was over by the first quarter. Ohio State was the better team every way through. Chip Kelly had some great play calling. I got to give a lot of credit to Chip Kelly, even though I'm not the biggest Chip Kelly fan. He did very well. Will Howard, when he has time in the pocket, eats. And this Ohio State team is very, very, very dangerous. Ohio State is going to play Oregon in a rematch in probably what's going to be the best game of the quarterfinal. I can't wait for that one. And funny enough, the preliminary line, or I guess the early line you could say, Ohio State is the favorite. Ohio State is currently favored to win that game over Oregon. Will that switch by the time the game starts? Potentially. But in any case, people are backing Ohio State to beat Oregon, which is a crazy 180 considering a couple weeks ago everyone was saying Ohio State was frauds after losing to Michigan, including myself. Ohio State fraud checked me. Ohio State fraud checked Tennessee. Tennessee had a good season, I guess you could say. 2 losses, one to Georgia, one to Arkansas. They played well. Nico is good. They have a bright future as long as Nico's still the quarterback. But let's not get too excited. Tennessee has its weaknesses, and it got shown in this game. Good win by Ohio State. It was okay first round of the college football playoff. Yes, it was a lot of blowouts. Was it expected? To a certain extent, it was. I thought it would be a little bit closer, at least one of the games. None of them were really close. None of them were really competitive. But let's not complain Let's embrace it for what it is. It's the first round only. We have more rounds to go. First time the 12-team college football playoff is ever happening. Next year, there will be adjustments. There will be tweaks. Let's not be too overcritical because I know a lot of people are criticizing the teams that got in, the standard, the format, everything. It was a good college football first round. I can't wait for second round.